We're gonna get started. In accordance with section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, be advised that a notice of this meeting was made by posting on a bulletin board in Town Hall and forwarding to the officially designated newspapers that this meeting will take place at the Milburn Education Center at 7 p.m. on December 16, 2025. Meeting details and the draft agenda were also posted on our township website. Please stand to salute the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen,
Here.
Mr. Cosgrove,
Here.
Mr. Sacamandi,
Here.
Mr. Stoller,
Present.
Mayor Romano.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? May I have a motion to approve the November 12th, 2025 regular township committee minutes?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? May I have a motion to approve the November 12th, 2025 special township committee minutes?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the December 2nd, 2025 regular township committee minutes?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? May I have a motion to approve the December 2nd, 2025 special township committee minutes? May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Chief Hill, you're.
Evening, everyone. I would like, before we get started, I'd like to thank the committee, the mayor, and this Administrator McDonald for allowing us to make these officers for the academy in January. First, we're going to start with Douglas De Silva. He's 27 years old, who currently resides in Elizabeth. Douglas graduated from Lyndhurst High School in 2021. After high school, he enlisted in the United States Army National Guard as a military police officer. He served honorably through 4 deployments and is still serving with the 508th Military Police Company out of Teaneck, New Jersey. At the same time, Douglas earned his bachelor's degree in Homeland Security and Emergency Management from Thomas Edison State University. Douglas has worked in the IT specialist at Beltec Logics for the past 2 years. Douglas will be attending Morris County Police Academy. Scott Byer. He's 23 years old, currently resides in Murray Hill, New Jersey. He has one older sister, Jessica. Scott graduated from Governor Livingston High School in June of 2020. Scott then enrolled in Lincoln Tech and received his certification in 2024 in electrical and electronic systems. Since 2021, Scott has been working as an electrician for Rose City Electric Company. Scott's family has a long history in law enforcement in Melbourne, which includes his father, Hans, or Bushman, grandfather Hans, and his uncle Jimmy Byer. Scott will be attending Morris County Police Academy in January. And next up is Jack Barker. He's 20 years old and resides in Whippany, New Jersey. He grew up and attended Milburn Public Schools until 8th grade, and then attended Oratory Prep High School in Summit, New Jersey, and graduated in 2024. He's currently attending Morris County College and is pursuing his degree in criminal justice. He was an intern at the Milburn Police Department for 3 months in 2024. Currently, he volunteers for the First Aid Squad in Milburn and Florham Park. For the past year, he has worked as an EMT for Bournemouth Health, providing pre-hospital care to medical patients. Jack will also be attending the Morris County Police Academy in January.
May I have a motion to approve resolution 25-264, which confirms the appointments?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Cosgrove,
Yes.
Mr. Sacamandi,
Yes.
Mr. Stoller,
Absolutely.
Mayor Romano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Gotti will now issue the oath of office to the new appointments.
That's not it.
Doors? You guys want to do that one? Then we'll do it again. Yep. I'll hold it. Yep. You all raise your right hand. just gonna repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Scott Meyer,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of police officer
of police officer
of the Milburn Township Police Department,
of the Milburn Township Police Department,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I can do that, just sign. Awesome.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a 3-minute recess for those of you that don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting. Don't let that fall.
Thank you. All right.
Chairman. Okay, we're gonna get started, everybody. Reports. We're gonna get started.
God, we can just stand before we move on.
We don't mind. It's a minute.
There's nothing else. Well. Can we bring this up? I'll come back. Mike's on. Mike's on. Mike's on. Stay around. Stay around. Okay. So before we continue with the agenda, it's my pleasure.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Nick, you have to keep
It's gotta
the
stay
door
open.
open.
Yes, to stay
Oh,
open.
you do.
You need one door open for a
This
public
one's
meeting.
open.
No, I shut
Oh, you shut it? Okay. Well, excuse me. It is my pleasure tonight to recognize Mayor Annette Romano for her exceptional service to Milburn Township. As many of you know, Annette is a lifelong Milburn resident who has devoted her life to helping others. She founded and continues to operate the Milburn Food Pantry, supporting neighbors facing food insecurity, and has also served with the Red Cross, assisting people in times of profound crisis. While she led the local Democratic Party for many years, Annette stepped into elective office in 2022 and has served as mayor for the past 2 years. The subcommittees she chose to serve on reflect her deep commitment to public service and community well-being, the Local Assistance Board, the Senior Citizen Advisory Board, and the Board of Health. She also worked to enrich the cultural life of Milburn through her involvement with the Cultural Engagement, Diversity, and the Arts Committee, the Art Advisory Committee, and the Community Service Award Committee. Recognizing that public safety is a top priority, Annette advocated for hiring additional police officers and investing in new technologies to support them. She has also contributed her time to the Pedestrian Safety Advisory Committee and the Parking Ad Hoc Committee. Annette has been equally dedicated to addressing one of Milburn's most pressing challenges, flood mitigation. She served on the Flood Mitigation Committee, the joint meeting of Essex and Union, and the Mayor's Council for Broadway River Watershed Flood Control. She was instrumental in securing a federal grant to improve the Gilbert Place pump station, and when that grant was later rescinded by Congress, successfully worked with state leaders to obtain a substantial portion of the original funding from Trent. During her term as mayor, Annette worked tirelessly to foster collaboration and consensus on the Township Committee. She transformed the traditional mayor's message into the Township Committee message, giving every member a voice and strengthening the committee's connection with the public. And although state statutes give the mayor sole authority over committee assignments, Annette chose instead to consult with all members, ensuring assignments were thoughtful and that everyone felt supported. Annette has also been a steadfast champion of Explore Milburn Sugar Hill, recognizing that a vibrant local business community strengthens the entire township. She participated in virtually all their events, from summer concerts and children's dance parties to ribbon cuttings for new perkins. But perhaps the most meaningful example of Annette's dedication comes from something she once told me. Her favorite part of being mayor was officiating marriage ceremonies. She loved being part of helping couples begin their new lives together. To me, that speaks volumes about her character, someone who finds joy in uplifting others and cherishes the human moments that bring a community closer. Tonight, we honor Mayor Annette Romano for her integrity, leadership, and unwavering commitment to the people of Milburn. Thank you. Trina Frankel is here to present a certificate from the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee.
As chair of the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee, it is my great honor to recognize Annette. She
was our institutional memory. She served for over 20 years on our committee, and we are so grateful for her guidance and support. The certificate of appreciation says, "We recognize Mayor Annette Romano for her outstanding dedication and service on the Township of Milburn Senior Citizen Advisory Board. Her commitment to advocating for the well-being, inclusion, and dignity of older adults was important. Her compassionate insight and devotion to serving others is clear. We thank you so much." One more.
All right, one more. Since in this, no, she doesn't, but, refused, the chair that we normally give out to committee people that are moving on. We had to pivot, kind of hard, and, came up with a gift that we thought was, useful to you. It's no secret that Annette loves her Wawa.
Oh, jeez.
And big drinks, so we decided that a Stanley with Mayor Romano on it would be fitting. There's also a Diet Coke.
Thank you, everybody. I just have a few words. Serving on the Township Committee has been one of the greatest honors of my life. Being mayor for the past 2 years in the town where I grew up has filled my heart in ways I can hardly put into words. Working with this team has been a privilege. We work very well together, achieved so much, and I'm proud of what we accomplished side by side. My deepest gratitude goes to my husband and children. Public service isn't something you do alone. Your family walks every step of it. They sacrifice time, energy, and moments that you don't get back. Their love and support carried me through the longest days and the toughest decisions, and I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you to our professionals for your dedication, support, and guidance. I'm incredibly thankful to the administration, town hall staff, DPW, our police, fire, and our first aid squad. Thank you for giving this community not just your work, but your heart. What you do is more than a job. It's a commitment, a calling, and your passion is felt in every corner of this town. And to the residents of Milburn Short Hills, thank you. You are the soul of this community, and serving you has been one of the greatest privileges of my life. Your emails, texts, and phone calls of encouragement and kindness touch me deeply. Leadership isn't about power or titles. It's about presence, purpose, and the people you serve. And you have shaped me, challenged me, and made me a better person. So thank you. Reports.
Oh, yeah. I think the one in the back is open.
No, it's closed. Thank you. Committee and Solar, would you like to start?
Sure, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Recreation Committee, phase 2 of the Taylor Park Pathway Lights Project, will happen later in the winter. Completion date is before April 1st. Rec basketball games started this past weekend, intramural high school basketball as well. Our inaugural table tennis open play program started Friday night, so anyone who wants to go to the house on a Friday night and play some table tennis. Ski club parent meeting and chaperone meeting is tonight in Bauer Center, which I'm supposed to be at because I'm going to be a chaperone, which is always great. We are sold out. We got 3 buses of kids ready to go skiing on the weekend, so that's going to be fun. Special Improvement District, Winter Villages were once again a big hit over the weekend. We had 1,000 people attend. We actually had 13 sponsors and they raised $13,000. As I always do, big thank you to signature sponsors, Dr. Arthur Grape, who's a dentist on Essex Street. Also had vendors from a variety of local organizations, including Cookies for Kids, Cancer Club, the American Indian Foundation Club. All the children were from Milburn High School. And we also had the Luminary Fund there. Although the event is over, you can still submit your receipts to be entered into the drawing to win 2 extra receipts up to, I think, $500, which is a nice little bonus if you get in it. BOE, Board of Education, the Robotics Championship, we won last weekend. Big thanks to the coaches. They also qualified for the Worlds held in St. Louis early next year. Big win for the chess team. The 9th grade chess team won the 2025 Grand National Championship this past weekend in Spokane, Washington. Now, this is the same trio that actually won the 2023 National Middle School Chess Championship. So they're a powerhouse. They'll be here for years. They're only freshmen. Joint facilities, I want to encourage everyone to provide feedback through the link that we posted on the town website. So if you have any questions about the fields, etc. Mountain Valley Emergency Communication Center, no real update. Right now, we're pushed that meeting back to, I think, next week, Alex, or two weeks, the MECC meeting?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay, good. Thanks for reminding me. Flood mitigation, we had a great flood mitigation public presentation last Monday. Well attended, I think there were like 40 people there, covered a ton of information. That information is now up on the Township website for everyone's perusal. I encourage everyone to view it. Open Space Tax Fund meeting next Monday. Affordable housing, I defer to council. I intended on a Sunday, I attended an inspired and peaceful menorah lighting ceremony on Sunday at Taylor Park, marking the first night of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to everyone who celebrates. Big thank you to the police department for their invaluable support and presence. We had 4, maybe 5, 6 police officers there. The event was conducted and hosted by Rabbi Bogomilsky and the Kai Center Shabbat. It was literally 9 degrees outside, but the warmth that was there from all of the attendees and the community and the unity that came together was fantastic. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say our hearts break for the victims and families of the horrific anti-Semitic attack at the Bondi Beach Hanukkah event, where at least 15 people were senselessly lost to hatred. I and the rest of us hope we stand firmly with Australia's Jewish community, with all the Jews worldwide in solidarity against hatred, in grief, resilience, and resolve, and may we all overcome bigotry together. That's it.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Cohen?
Sure. At the Arboretum meeting, we discussed the flood mitigation meeting that Committeeman Stoller was just talking about. Since the Arboretum is bordering one of the big flood areas and is very interested in getting that resolved. We also talked about preparations for Beak Week, which will be April 17th. That's going to be the major event of the year for the Arboretum. And lastly, the annual Indian cooking event is going to be held January 23rd. You can register on the Arboretum website. It is a popular event and does tend to sell out. We had a planning board meeting, but most of that was an executive session discussing litigation issues. The zoning code subcommittee met and it continues to work on strengthening definitions that could be presented next year as ordinances get revised.
Thank you. Committeeman Cottrell?
Thank you, Mayor. Not that much to report. The Historic Preservation Committee had a meeting. They processed a number of applications. Next Shade Tree has a meeting later this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Secretary?
No reports.
Public comment. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Phil.
Thank you, Mayor. Real quick, 4th round fair share housing update. On December 11th, we had our session for the program, which is essentially our hearing. We had one objector, which was RPM, who was the 3rd round developer who's looking to build the 75 units at 9 Main, which the township is vehemently opposing, and we have that litigation on appeal in the appellate division. They filed a 4th round objection. We argued that that they don't have standing in the 4th round as they have no 4th round project. We argued that anything related to the 9 Main Street is currently under the jurisdiction of the appellate division. We don't know when we'll get a ruling on that or what a ruling in the 4th round related to a 3rd round project will be, but we'll continue to keep the public updated and continue to be transparent on all fair share housing items. I just want to thank Mayor Romano for the privilege and opportunity to serve with you the last 2 years. So thank you for that.
Public comment. When invited to speak to offer your comments, please come to the lectern, clearly state your name and whether you are a Milburn resident and or property or business owner. Please do not provide your full address, seeing our meetings are recorded and readily available to the public. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit all to be heard, speakers shall limit their comments to 1 3-minute session. You will be prompted when there's 30 seconds remaining. A reminder that this is not a time for dialogue or to debate a matter. This is a time during our business meeting for the public to offer comments. I will now open public comment.
I'm Trina Franco, Short Hills resident. I would like to make a modest proposal with apologies to Jonathan Swift. It is so hard for ICE to know exactly who they should be picking up. Not everyone who doesn't belong has the requisite brown skin and foreign accent. We should make it easier for our men in masks. Of course, there are yellow stars, but those are so 1940s. Let's make everyone who is not quite us wear a sombrero and wax mustache, as our president suggested for Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. ICE could then put them right into detention camps and avoid the delay and expense of courts, lawyers, and due process. If we can find no asshole country that will take them, then perhaps ovens are the solution. I understand Syria has some leftover poison gas. If by some mischance a person escapes, perhaps by playing dead amidst the corpses, and says to us, I alone am left to tell thee, we can deny the whole thing like one does of the Holocaust. Actually, today one can call ServPro, and it will be like it never really happened. Irony aside, as Hannah Arendt said, people must have the right to have rights. Her citizenship was revoked by the Germans, and she fled to the border of France and Portugal with the famous philosopher Walter Benjamin. The border was closed, and Benjamin committed suicide rather than face return to a fascist state. The very next day, the border opened. Arendt fled to America, wrote The Origins of Totalitarianism, and became a preeminent philosopher. Another immigrant, a Palestinian refugee, raised in extreme poverty, was just named a Nobel laureate in chemistry. Impoverished immigrants, stateless, politically oppressed immigrants, are the foundations of our economic and intellectual successes. By not allowing them in, we are all the poorer. I would ask our township committee and all our residents to tell our representatives in the state legislature to support the Immigrant Trust Act. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Phil, I live in the post section, and we're, I guess, 32 years. On behalf of my family, I want to wish everyone in the community a happy holidays, whether it's Hanukkah, Christmas, or Kwanzaa, and everyone have a prosperous new year coming up. As my custom, I provided a heads up letter and all the various exhibits to the township committee, and as their custom, they never responded to me, even though I am a constituent. Most of my questions have nothing to do with litigation. We heard about institutional knowledge when we were honoring our mayor, but let's remember what happened about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Congressman Malinowski stood up during the organizational meeting swearing in and told everyone about the importance of their solemnity of their oath of office. The next day, Congress was invaded. Also about 5 years ago, I appeared at a SID meeting and I was talking to Mr. Harlavecchia, and I told him, when you're a fiduciary, you can't be an ostrich. You can't bury your head in the sand and expose your backside to your enemies. And the reason I say that is that when you look at the agenda in the bill list, and the bill list only, citizens only received it because I started demanding it about when I appeared in September 2020. If you look at the payments to our municipal attorney, especially when it comes back to Bear Properties 1, Bear Properties 2. Today, I sent you each an appellate opinion about slack suits. I still don't understand how taxpayers' monies are being used to sue me personally and my clients personally for defamation under a SLAPP suit. Those claims belong to someone's individually. They do not belong to the community, and they should be paid by those people. You'll also look at the bill list. Why am I differentiated than any other citizen about Oprah requests? If you look at the Oprah requests in September and October, the dispute basically was over emails, whether you received them from the county regarding the Upper Milburn Avenue closure of the street. It was delayed to get those emails. I have questions, please answer them. Most important questions I really think we have is that tonight you're approving a hold harmless agreement with the county regarding pay stations. You never got a resolution to hold them harmless regarding Main Street town closure. As in Paper Mill Town, additional fundings, what's the source of the payment? Because the copy I had, there was no certificate of availability, and how are we gonna recoup all our monies? I'll speak on other issues later.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Bill Kirsch, Milburn resident. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Romano for his service to the town, really appreciate it. Otherwise, maybe it's an evening to confront unpleasant topics. But I have a statement to make about rhetoric and decency. Our sitting president recently stated publicly that one fellow Republican legislator was a traitor, that a certain Democratic House representative was garbage and should be thrown out of the country, and that a US senator should be executed. He has also continued to insult journalists who ask him challenging questions, and to threaten judges whose only offense is ruling against his policies. Put aside for a moment the rampant racism and misogyny. Perhaps even put aside that he has seen his attacks result in threats and possible violence against his targets. My point tonight is to speak out against language that we would not permit at a proceeding like this one, or want our children to be exposed to. This is language that we would not use among family members or at our jobs, language that no person of reasonable decency would use in public or in private. Yet the most visible person in our nation is continually spouting such language. Behavior like this, of course, filters down to the local level, to our schools, our homes, and our meetings. And since silence implies agreement, it warrants a resolution by this committee condemning it. Failing that, it would be irresponsible of me not to personally denounce. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Harry Miller, resident. Repeat subject, Route 24. Traffic just gets worse and worse. I've been up here at least once a year, twice a year. I can't tell you how many years. We need to do a regional study with Summit, Livingston, Chatham, Maplewood, Springfield. I'm sure I'm missing a few towns, but it's going to get worse. More people are going back to work. The amount of apartments being built west of here, fourth round, third round, it's getting worse. You can't get onto 24 East 3 o'clock, most days. To be able to drive down to Newark, go to a Devils game, yeah. Right now, I can go through Livingston to 280, right through downtown. People are getting off 24 and doing that. Separately, 24 doesn't have proper signage. If you're going east to the turn off to 78, goes from 3 lanes to 2 lanes. There's no merge sign. So if any of you have ever gone that direction, the braking, the jockeying position is awful. Going westbound, same thing after the mall, goes from 3 lanes to 2 lanes, there's no signage. Going back to eastbound, you're going down, you make the round left turn to get onto 78. 78 has 4 lanes going east, 2 express, 2 local. We've got 3 lanes to 2. 1 lane gets off at Broad, 1 lane gets off at 78. Then everybody's jockeying position, you have to go from 3 lanes to 2 lanes, and you're trying to get onto either local, or you went onto the express. There's enough room under that bridge. I'm not pretending to be a traffic engineer, but I think in meeting with DOT, getting the other towns involved, I know they're all feeling the same way. Go to other meetings I listen to, but nobody seems to want to take the lead on that. Short and sweet on that. White Oak Ridge, I've mentioned before, we still have passing lanes at Gerald Park. There's two different dotted lines. It's shocking to me. It's wonderful. Nobody's gotten hurt. They cross, go to the ball field. There's no reason for it. I often come home from something or another at 9, 10, 11 o'clock. It's rare that it happens. Cars go flying by in the passing lane. It passed the fire department in the other lane. Could ask the fire department, maybe they're aware of it as well, but there's no reason for the passing lane there. Thank you.
Thank you. Becky Boganowski, resident of Township. Tonight is the third night of Hanukkah. I would like to wish a very happy Hanukkah to the entire community. I also would like to thank the Township Committee members for the support of the lighting and for the warm wishes in honor of this joyous holiday. Hanukkah celebrates the miraculous victory in the Maccabees army fighting 2,200 years ago for religious freedom and for the right to practice Jewish faith. Especially this year, after the horrific terrorist massacre of 15 Jews in Sydney, Australia, we are very grateful for the support of the Township and for the vigilant presence of Pilgrim's Finest at our public menorah lighting in Taylor Park this past Sunday. It was uplifting for all to celebrate the holiday together. Having such clear support really means a lot to the members of our community. Although the temperature was well below freezing, the Hanukkah donuts, lattes, hot cocoa, Starbucks coffee, and most of all, the joy and camaraderie of all affected kept us all warm. Thank you and happy Hanukkah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charles Bandera, Sherwood resident for 20 years. I'd like to thank Mayor Romano and echo sentiments for her service. First and foremost, for any other comments. Thank you.
We can't hear you. Is the mic not working?
not on. The mic's not working.
Yeah.
Just have to
It's
project.
not working.
Just
so-
project, yeah.
All right, I'll talk about it. I'm happy to hear that the Winter Villages were a success for the downtown. I'd like to understand how they benefited the merchants in Upper Milburn Avenue and on Morris Avenue that also are forced to pay assessments into the CID, and how that may have benefited people on the east side of Milburn Avenue also. In my mind, it was a downtown event. I liked the lighting in the courtyard. Thank you for that. I missed the lighting in Taylor Park. I thought that was beautiful. I loved always walking through that with my family. And that can be done non-denominational and make it a cultural event, but there's a way to see that return. I'd like to see that return, and wish everyone happy holidays. Be safe, stay healthy, and celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Richie Cyber, Milburn resident. I wanted Annette. It was nice. Had a good run. Have a good future. Great family. Thank everybody here for serving. I went to an event last night at the Boxcar where the whole town, members of the town that are on different committees. There were a lot of people there. A lot of people volunteer their services to better the town. We're very lucky that we live in a nice town like this that has police, security. The world, I wasn't going to really comment tonight, but there were some other comments here. The world is rough right now. You need some rough people to keep an eye on it. What I always say is, for anybody that ever went to Disney World, they got a big fence around Disney World. And it's very important for them to know who's coming in to the park every day. You have to give a lot of, you gotta show who you are to get into the park. And I think it's important for immigrants to come to the country. legally. I think that the leaders of the countries of the world need to step up now, because there's a lot of issues going on that need to be addressed. If not, there'll be no future left in the world. I'm watching the news. For those who don't watch the news, in France, they've canceled New Year's Eve ceremonies. Different things around the whole world right now are being canceled. Why? I don't have to explain why. You should know why. So I'm happy I live in this town here. I'm happy that we have police. I'm happy that we have enforcement to make sure that everyone that lives in our town is safe. That's my main concern. And it's very important that people tell the truth about what's going on. That's it. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good evening, Venkat Bala, Melbourne resident for last 5 years. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our worshipful Mayor Romano for the food bank that was created during the pandemic time. Most probably when a lot of restaurants and a lot of eateries outside was closed, people could go there and get a happy meal. And that is the most important thing, that no dollar amount can go into it. So she has really lived up to that value, and we would like to thank her for her service, as well as her extended family members who are sitting in this desk.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Christine Dust. Happy Hanukkah to everyone who celebrates or is associated with the celebration with myself. I hope that you enjoy the holidays and bless you and bless everybody across the world that's been harmed. I wanted to talk quickly about the lights that are approved or about to be approved for Taylor Park, Alex. I wanted to understand a little bit more about that. I don't think that the HPC is aware of that. And under 805.3 certificate of appropriateness, I think it has to be issued in order for those lights to go in. And I think that we ran into this problem before with the rec committee creating the whole playground with actually getting approval on that, and we get that sort of slide. But I don't think that any more construction design or things can happen without having a certificate of appropriateness from HPC. So can we possibly table that to review? Maybe Dave can speak else about it, but I just noticed that I'm not sure that anybody on the HPC will be aware of that. So that's my main, thing that I wanted to talk about. And then I also wanted to talk a little bit about the attack on Bear properties. It seems to be an ongoing thing. And I stand here, I'm actually friends with the family, but I stand here because I don't like communism in merchandising or retail. Seasoned retail executive, this is what I did for 25 years. I studied design, and I was responsible for P&L of $250 million in a retail company. And I don't really like, retail should never be like commoditized or, set up in a way where we force taxes on people that are already paying for property taxes. And one of the things that I just want to call out here is that there's sort of a discrimination going on because they're being sort of highlighted in the news locally and on social media. And I just want to give an example of I did something similar actually. I don't even know how many years ago, but I actually fought my property taxes and I didn't use an attorney. Did a pro se case. I landed down at Superior Court in Newark by myself. I'm like a clueless person when it comes to legal stuff like that. Managed the whole thing, went to settlement. The attorney that I worked with the town, settled with me. And I think I got maybe $2,000 or $3,000 off on my property tax. I did a lot of work to do it. So it'll total out for me to be about $30,000. And so this little amount that they're fighting over, I find it really interesting because no one targeted me and wrote articles about the fact that I fought appropriate property taxes because I was misassessed. So it's just something to think about when you target people that are just really fighting for their rights, okay? Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Anyone online?
Yes. Good evening, Harry Urso and Short Hills. It's been brought to my attention the TC is going to put forward to recover legal fees when they have continually chosen to litigate and not mediate for over 5 years. Remember the video I played it at the May 2025 TC meeting when the then Deputy Mayor Vinaya stated that the TC has voted unanimously to litigate and not mediate. Who supports this action against a property owner, resident, business owner of over 30 years? Is this a precedent? Has the township ever sought to sue for legal fees with any other counterparty that is a property owner, resident, and business owner? And then I'd like to mention about I know Mr. Feld had brought it up, but regarding the resolution number 25-72, what is the significance between the request permission from the County of Essex for the installation of 6 solar-powered pay stations on Milburn Avenue? I'm assuming that's all the way through Milburn Avenue. A hold harmless agreement with Essex County. And the failure to obtain and approve a resolution for the Upper Milburn Avenue block party. And why was there no hold harmless resolution on your agenda for that block party? As a property owner, it's extremely concerning that not only the property owners, but the township and the county were put in harm's way with absolutely no accountability. And lastly, I would like to thank Mayor Romano for her time, the 1,095 days that she was part of the TC. I only hope that you would have taken 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, maybe even to come to talk to me and discuss with what my concerns are, but instead rallied against me. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you. Anyone else? I will now close public comment. Would anyone like to respond to anything?
I'll go, sir. Ms. Frankel, Mr. Kurz, thank you for your counsel, always good words of wisdom. I appreciate you bringing that forward and to the township's attention. Carrie Heller, it's funny, everybody talks about the League of Municipalities and going down there for a couple of days. I was down there. I found myself directly across a dinner from guess who? The New Jersey head of DOT. I spoke to Francis O'Connor. He's coming to town. He goes, what can I do to help? How can I help you guys in Milburn, Short Hills? I said, that interchange at 24. And luckily you've spoken to me about this offline. So I had a ton of ammunition ready to go. And we talked about it for literally the entire dinner. So hopefully in the new year, he will be coming to town. We will walk that and look at the imposition the pass-through traffic has in our town. I mean, it's insane right now from 4:30 to 6:30, 7 o'clock to get through our town. And I was also joined, by chance, the mayor of Morristown was there, and East Hanover. So we got a little trifecta tripled up on them, and it's going to affect the entire general area. So thank you for bringing that. I was going to wait until the meeting to bring that forth, but we're working on it, and we'd love to have that input. Great input. What else here? I think my hands are still cold from the Hanukkah celebration, but it was so great to see everyone turn out. Thank you guys. The Volganiskis back there for throwing that menorah lighting. And then, one other thing, what was it? Oh, yeah, so I'd like to get some feedback on the certificate of appropriateness and how that plays into the lights, if we could, for Ms. Best. And then, that's good. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Cohen.
I don't have much, just I want to make sure that everybody, since not every of you made till the second public comment, to just thank everybody for coming out, expressing their views, and to wish everybody a happy holiday during this holiday season. That's it.
Committee Pascal,
No further comments, thank you.
Committee Subcommittee.
No comments, just want to wish everyone a happy and healthy holidays and New Year.
Mr. Cantor,
Nothing to add, thank you.
Mr. McDonald.
Yeah, just on, I believe, two matters. As far as the HPC goes, I will leave it, I think the rec department did plan on going to the HPC and at least hopefully getting a minor work review. These are lights that are the same fixture, same type that are already in Taylor Park. And so certainly the committee can, I don't know that there is an issue. We have 60 days to approve a contract. If there's an issue, you wanna table that for now. That might be okay, but we do have only until April 1st to utilize this grant funding. So, it would behoove the rec department as well as the HPC to move quickly and hopefully what would just be a minor work review to approve the lighting. The light fixtures are the same. It'll light up the entire park so that it can be utilized during the hours of operation, which are to 10 p.m. But certainly I don't know that there would be any issue with doing that. Just make sure we're in the right order of operation. So, but again, but the idea would be that they would go to the HPC regardless of whether it's approved tonight or not. There was another question that was, the hold harmless, with this county that had come up a few times. So, the county does ask, and this is the first that they've asked when it comes to the pay stations that we put on the street. But if we put up a sign, they ask for a hold harmless. If we, anything that's done in the right of way of Essex County, and they've gotten more and more strict over the years. Again, just to ensure that if something happened to that sign or those pay stations, that we don't come back to, somebody doesn't come back to them and say, well, you need to replace that, it's in your right of way. That's really the purpose of it. Nothing more than that. They're never gonna deny the town putting in pay stations to do that or sign that is necessary. But that is the reason.
And are you saying that it was not necessary for the block party?
There, again, there's been,
was nothing in the block
correct,
party
there's no application, I think again, this continues to be brought up, there was no application, even in the responses that were provided by the county to those individuals that offered them. All they said was they'd like a heads up, which they were provided well ahead of time. They didn't respond, which is fine. Like again, there are multiple times that this took place and nobody had an issue with the Upper Milburn Avenue Chamber of Commerce Street Fair, the Milburn Avenue Street Fair in the downtown, the President's Cup, the things that go on like that. This particular event, there was apparently some consternation with, but none of those events required any of those approvals or any of those, anything that is being brought up.
The Township Committee will now consider consent agenda resolutions. Are there any comments from the committee in regard to any issues listed on the consent agenda? We have a motion to approve resolution 25-265 through resolution 25-272, which are listed on the consent agenda.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cosgrove?
Yes.
Mr. Sakamandy?
Yes.
Mr. Stoller?
Affirmative.
Mayor Romano?
Yes.
Thank you.
Are there any comments from the committee in regard to resolution 25-273? May I have a motion to approve resolution 25-272?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Cosgrove,
Yes.
Mr. Sakamandy,
Yes.
Mr. Stoller,
Affirmative.
Mayor Romano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any comments from the committee in regard to resolution 25-274?
My
Sorry.
understanding that the money's fungible, it doesn't change the amount, it's just the allocation, is that correct?
The total dollar amount that was approved is the total dollar amount. This is all, the change order in any of the contracts that take place.
Just municipal contract law,
Correct.
basically.
And this one happens to be over 20% because the original contract was $217,000. And this one is this change order is 149, therefore it's more than 20% needs to be approved.
Two questions from Mr. McDonald. One is, what's the change order for? And the second is then, what does that bring the total amount that's being spent on the carriage house renovation?
Well, so as of right now, the carriage house renovation is, I believe, $1.8 million total, with this change order. Again, that's when all the contracts are expended. The change order is for the discovery of two tanks under the carriage house floor. One was a water tank, the other was a fuel tank. There was some leaking of that tank. They removed that soil, put in clean fill, and that was done by the site work contractor Turco. And again, that original contract was 217. This change order, because of that additional work, additional site excavation, the removal of the tank and the dirt that was hauled away, is in the amount of 140.
Thank you.
And so you're saying that, and then once we hit what we approved, the $7 million, that's it.
That's
So
it.
if there are other change orders that they thought they were gonna be using the township money for, they'll have to find some other source.
Correct, and again, there have been change orders on the carriage house that the paper mill is dealing with. And so, we sit in on a meeting, every week to go over the project, and it's progressing, as it should be. This was a little bit of a hiccup to put them behind, but yes, the money is the money. That was approved. No additional.
And with the ice, everything was fine on the parking lot with the ice this weekend?
Yeah, I actually asked that question this morning, with the improvements to the parking lot, which was, done, in some cases due to certainly the lighting, but also the sheet flow that was taking place of water that created an icing situation. They said it performed very well.
May I have a motion to approve resolution 25-274?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Cosgrove,
Yes.
Mr. Sakamandy,
Yes.
Mr. Stoller,
Affirmative.
Mayor Romano.
Yes.
Thank you.
The 2026 Melbourne Short Hills Resilience Organization budget was introduced by the Township Committee at our November 12th, 2025 meeting. May I have a motion to approve resolution 25-275, which authorizes the township to read the 2026 Short Hills Business Organization budget by title?
Motion.
Is there a hearing?
Do you need a second? I'll second it, sure.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen,
Yeah. Is there a public hearing?
this is just for the read by title.
That's the title.
This is just to read it by title.
Read it, okay.
Okay. So, yes.
Mr. Cosgrove,
Yes.
Mr. Sakamandy,
Yes.
Mr. Stoller,
Affirmative.
Mayor Romano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I will refer to Mr. Grillo, Executive Director, for any final comments on the 2026 Melbourne Short Hills Business Organization budget.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the committee. My name is Steve Grillo. I'm the Executive Director of Explore Melbourne Short Hills. Before I start, I want to present Mayor Romano with a proclamation from our board, thanking you for your time. You've certainly served 1 year on our board, and then you've been a wonderful supporter of our organization. My family, certainly, my son and daughter think that your kids are the funnest kids to run around with the town hall plaza. And it's an inside joke, but we will be seeing more of each other because your food pantry is also our conference room.
Yeah.
So we have double duty there, but this is on behalf of our board. It's signed by myself and our board chair, Jackie Lieberberg. So
Thank
I'll
you.
provide this with
Thank
you
you.
and thank you for your service.
Thank
I have no comments specific to the budget. We made our presentation a month ago. If there's anyone on the township committee that has any questions, I'm happy to answer any of them. Otherwise, after the public makes their comments, I'm happy to come back and answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
I hereby open the public hearing for any comments on the 2026 Milburn Short Hills Business Organization budget.
My name is Jeffrey Feld. I read it, and basically I had to put these comments, preserve our rights for other reasons. I'm not gonna go through it, I'll incorporate what I wrote in my email to you, all the comments. But the one thing that's most important when you're looking at the budget is and I say this because tomorrow we're gonna have a celebration of the Bill of Rights down at Bauer. Ken Burns had a documentary on the Revolutionary War. And we talk about consent of the governed, no taxation without representation. One of the issues, and Judge Spencer really never addressed this, is that we have a 50% perpetual obligation to fund 50% of the SID's executive director. This occurred before Mr. Grillo came on site. To let everyone understand this, Mr. Grillo has nothing to do with this part. But when you look at the notices that were published, the regular taxpayers had no idea, was never set forth, that 50% in perpetuity will be funded. When we talk about consent of the governed, procedural due process, and you look at that budget, 50% off the top comes from the taxpayers. You look at the budget, what other expenses are coming from regular taxpayers, not the specially assessed people? And we have to remember the history of this SID. In December 2018, the original downtown SID, the people who were being specially assessed voted to dissolve the SID. 2 years later, a new ordinance comes up in the middle of COVID to expand and to have an appointed SID board. That's never, especially assessed people, being able to vote on it or to have the right to dissolve it without the consent of this group. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I've sent this to various township committee members, the transcripts of the hearings, the evidence, the documents. And one of the things that's very interesting is when I stood up here the first time, September 1st, 2020, I was not involved in the case. I just watched Nancy Stone, Harry Urso be attacked on video. And I said, I will represent you. Eric Bernstein, a friend of Nancy Stone, says, I'm not going to charge you, Jeff here. It's invalid the way it was approved and expanded. I've sent you other ordinances to compare it with. At the last meeting, you talk about a tiered payment system. That basically says, because this is a special assessment on the property owners in 4 different districts that were created to fund a SID so you can go for a Main Street, New Jersey application. Compare other municipalities, compare the cost, compare the expenses that you pay other professionals. For years you could have been talking to me, but you didn't.
Hey, I know Christine Best, Milburn Township. I haven't looked in detail at the SID budget, so I'm gonna sit there with that. I don't like to make claims to anything. I fully support what Jeff said in terms of, sort of your right to not be taxed for things that you shouldn't be taxed for. I can understand some of the points of the SID, But I just have such an issue with the misuse of funds and the way it's spent and the things, like, why did the Township, like Riverwalk with all the lights go away? Why did that go away? That was a great event. Does the Winter Villages draw more? Have you done a benchmark against those events? Like, and how do you do your benchmarks? Because I don't think you do them appropriately in retail terms. So, I actually was downtown over the weekend after one of the nights that you guys had the event. And everything was like torn apart and all over the place. It was really embarrassing. I actually posted a video of it on Milburn Township Politics if anybody wants to take a look. I think that it's kind of thrown together. I'm sorry to say that. I have high standards and maybe people might think that's arrogant, but we have to start looking at towns like Summit, Cranford, Madison, Chatham, Morristown. We don't look like that. And when we come into our town, we look like Route 22 now, okay? Like, you might as well just be somewhere on Route 22. I'm just saying, I have a lot of issue. And going back to the metrics and lessons that you guys talked about, how there's a lot of value. Some people have brought that up the last time. If you're a retail expert and you're starting a store, okay, I've never started in my own store, all right? It's actually a very dangerous thing to do when you're playing with your own money, okay? I've managed large amounts. It's complicated. These people, if they need lessons in inventory planning, which I think there was an inventory planning lesson on Instagram, very basic. You do inventory planning a year to 6 months out, depending on whether you're vertical or not vertical in retail, okay? Doing inventory planning in November and actually talking to merchants about that, if you're a SID director, you know nothing about retail, okay? That is not a lesson. Those people need to know about it in advance of the event. I am concerned that people are being illegally taxed for things and basically funding other people's education that are not qualified to possibly be here or be in this town. And there was another big store that just went out of business, the lighting store on the corner. So I don't support that. Thank you. Thank you.
Jean Pasternak, resident. I guess I would like to just validate what Jeff was saying. I actually attended, I think, all the meetings when this city was originally being discussed and informed. And I think I probably was one of the few actual residents that wasn't actually a business owner, property owner. And I think I was the one that asked the question, what was going to happen with residents funding this? And it wasn't actually told until that question came up that I asked. So I don't think residents were made aware that we would be contributing to the special improvement district. And I think that is a historical fact, and I don't think it was right. The other thing that I stood here, I think multiple times and asked at these hearings in the past was, what is the return on the investment that the businesses as well as the residents make on the city? What are the metrics? To say that there are thousands of people that attend events, it doesn't really say anything. How does it impact the bottom line of the town and the businesses in the town? And that's what I've never heard an answer to that question, and I will ask it again tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll spend that, 28-year resident of Short Hills. I'm a taxpayer in this town, as is everybody else sitting here, as members of the public. I don't know about them, but I am personally appalled that my tax monies are being used to fund legal defense funds without my knowledge and consent. Why isn't a resolution passed appropriating funds, if that's your intention, to attack residents in this town? I too call myself a friend of Perry and her family, and I feel she's being treated unjustly. I feel she's being assessed unjustly, as I said earlier in this meeting. The merchants on Morris Avenue and out of the downtown district. But as far as using my tax monies for legal defense funds, I believe I should have a say in it, and I don't.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone online?
Yes. Vicky?
We can move there, so. They both came on at the same time, so.
It's been said to us that people need to step up and come forward if there are an objection to the SID. And I know all of you are in receipt of letters from other objectors. So I ask you tonight, say their names and make a statement acknowledging their submissions, and we'll support their claims. People are afraid to step up because of the government retaliation, defamation, and boycott. Behind closed doors, they express their dissatisfaction with treatment of defamation and retaliation that we have been subjected to. This is a classic definition of bullying behavior. In the budget, I would ask, has the township previously granted the same monies to the former DMDA? You all are in receipt of my objection letter, correct? But I do thank Mr. Committeeman Stoller for being kind enough for his acknowledgement. I've asked over and over again if you've read and the prior administration, if they have read ordinance 2561-20. This ordinance saddles the property owners. And unlike with the board repeatedly says, businesses, and the businesses, it's the property owners who bear what's within the ordinance. And you have embodied the SID by strengthening its authority. And now you are considering taking away a property owner's seat. Unlike other towns where there have been a minimum of 3 property owner seats. And why has it been repeatedly stated that the SID is struggling to fill the property owner seats? Why? Is there no buy-in? Well, interestingly enough, just last night I had a conversation with a former property owner who came to the township during COVID asking for help. And in return, they got saddled with the SID tax instead, without any benefit on the Morris Turnpike. They gave up on their efforts, talking to deaf ears, sold their building, and got out of here. Another conversation where it was mentioned that the SID is denied to support the Chamber's Winter Walk event. Why? Years I've said, why is the township not working collaboratively with the Chambers of Commerce? For years, the Winter Walk was a huge attraction to Millburn. And look around town, absolutely nothing festive or inviting. It's a conflict for the SID member to be part of the chambers because the SID is not working collaboratively with the chambers. And as a property owner without a vote or a voice, I've never seen anything quite like this in the years that we have been here in town. I can't understand why, and perhaps you should ask, sorry, I didn't see my video. I'd like to ask why we do not defer our SID tax to our tenants, and we do not forbid our tenants from participating. But they have been disappointed. For obvious reasons, events have been held on Upper Millburn.
And there was one more, Vicky, we'll try her again.
No. Anyone else in the room?
Here we go. Oh, good morning. Okay.
No. I will now close public comment. Mr. Brewer, would you like to make any comments on any comment?
Mayor, I don't have any comments on what the public mentioned. Most of it is, the same, items that have been mentioned year after year. So unless there's any specific questions from the township committee, I have nothing to add.
Does anyone have any questions, comments up there?
So Mayor, I just like to briefly just respond. So it's been said time and time again that there was no notification that the executive director's salary would be paid for by the township. This was raised at trial, and there was an exhibit that was marked, I think it was 67. And it was a fact that was given out. And you know what a fact is? A question and answer that was printed by the township. The second question on the fact, and I have it in front of me, and it's operable, is how will the SID be funded? And it says the town, this is a fact that was given to the public. It says the township will continue to provide for half of the executive director's salary. So that was a publication of the township. So I'm not saying everybody got the fact. I'm not saying, I don't know how it was distributed, but I am saying that it wasn't a secret. It was known at the time. And I also just want to add that what makes Bear Properties 2 different and why we're talking about it is the Bear Properties not only sued the township, but they sued Alex, they sued Steve Grillo, they sued Annette, they sued Michael Cohen, they sued Jackie Lieberberg, they sued Richard Wasserman, they sued all these people as individuals, and put them at risk. And then they said in the complaint itself that they voted for the SID for their own pecuniary self-interest. So they allege in the complaint that they passed the SID to financially benefit themselves. Like Alex did that Annette did that Michael did that Steve did that. And that is a serious attack on their integrity as volunteers. I know they get some stipend of the community. So that's taken very seriously when somebody attacks the board. And we're here to protect the township, and we're here to protect the board. So, but for those personal allegations that they received pecuniary self-interest, and that's why they voted, they were named personally. And I just want to set the record straight and the facts straight. I mean, I sit here and I listen and I take it in, but I think the public at some point needs to know that there was something marked in evidence. And as to the legality of the SID and whether or not it was done properly, the court twice dismissed the complaints, summarily dismissed the complaints. There's a statutory process by which SIDs are created. It was done by the legislature of the state of New Jersey. If the public doesn't like SIDs or doesn't think they're appropriate, then you can talk to legislatures and say the state shouldn't have SIDs. But it's a statutory framework. The township met the statutory framework, and the court has twice, for better or less, the way the township did it. The Bear Properties complaints attacked the substance of the SID. They attached the procedures in which the SIDs were enacted, and the judge, we had a full trial, and exhibits were presented, and the judge asked questions, and it was dismissed, twice dismissed. So I understand that people are upset at the result, and people are upset at how the budget is being prepared, and everybody has the right, the First Amendment right, and everybody has the right. I'm not saying who's right and who's wrong, but I do know that the SID that it was legally created because the court said it was. And I do know that there was at least one public document fact that was circulated, which identified the fact that the township would be providing for 50% of the executive director's salary. So I just wanted to clear
In
that
addition to
record.
it being written in the ordinance.
In addition to it being written in the ordinance, and there was a public hearing on the ordinance. It comes back to, I don't want to rehash, whether or not we needed a big feasibility study. The court ruled we didn't have one. It was in May. But things that are often said here just blatantly are not true, and not because I'm saying it as a township lawyer, but because the court said it, and the court's an unbiased, and the court is the way to go. So that's just what I wanted to add.
And I would add too for Ms. Best that I have a party at the end of school every school year. That party is judged by how wrecked my house and that yard is when people leave. So walking through the winter villages and all the little smiling faces all buttoned up in their mittens and their hats and driving through it was crazy. But, you know, kind of, I think that's actually good that the place was a wreck when it was over, because these.
Miss Best's video was posted on Saturday morning. The event was Saturday night. We were there Thursday evening. The igloos were all in place. There must have been a windstorm at some point on Friday. And they got knocked down. And then we spent 3 hours the next day in the cold setting up before the event, which was 4 additional hours plus another hour of breakdown. So I think she's taken I'm not gonna attack Miss Best because there's no sense in it, but the facts need to be straight. That was not after the event. We didn't leave a messy workplace. The wind blew through town in December and knocked down plastic igloos that had sandbags on them. We moved personally about 40 sandbags. So the truth in these comments that I just heard was pretty unique. But that's just one item that, yes, sometimes things blow down in the wind and then the staff goes and spends the next 8 hours fixing them and hosting it. Thank you.
A couple questions.
So, yes, sir.
Just to set the record straight, Mr. Grillo, how much does the township contribute to the SID director's salary on an annual basis?
It's 50%. So
Is around what, $50,000?
it's I think this year it's 57 and change.
To date, do you happen to know how much the Fair Properties lawsuits all combined have cost both the SID and the township in legal fees?
I don't know. I think the last time I heard it was somewhere north of 150,000.
I believe it's north of $200,000. So I just think the public should see that in perspective. We have a situation where every year we approve a SID budget, we have public hearings, public notice. You know, the township has gone through all of the proper channels when creating the SID, when reauthorizing the SID. This has been adjudicated by court multiple times. And yet we still seem to be getting the same arguments. And I think that at a certain point, we need to all take a step back from this and ask ourselves, does it really make sense to keep going after this entity that is doing a lot of good for the town and that businesses in the town have said provides value to them? You know, at what point do we draw the line and those that don't like it say, okay, you know what, we don't like it. You know, maybe in the future, there'll be leaders we can elect that will change it. But at what point do we stop with the senseless litigation? So that's a question.
And Mr. Sacamani, if you don't mind, I'd like to just elaborate on that. We pay in our budget, which you'll vote on shortly, pay $16,000 a year to an attorney. That is unheard of in New Jersey for a SID to have a legal obligation like that. The primary reason, and I know certain people like to use the word fiduciary, I wish I could spend that $16,000 on other things. But as Mr. Cantor explained, we were named as a litigant, as was the town. We had to defend ourselves, right? We could not join your case because if you had chosen a different defense, our organization, which is a separate organization, may have had to go get their own legal counsel. The constant litigation and the constant efforts, as you pointed out, they're not only annoying, they cost money. They cost real money, $16,000 in legal bills. And so I appreciate your understanding of that challenge that we face, because I would love to reappropriate that money somewhere else, but I don't have the ability to.
No. So to be clear, that $16,000, had you not had to spend that on legal fees, that could have been used for other things to benefit the businesses that are part of the city.
That $16,000 that can be spent on planters or events or marketing or social media influencers or hiring people to do education programs, you name it.
Or perhaps holiday.
Perhaps holiday lights, but it has to go to pay an attorney because we spent the last 5 years in litigation.
Litigating the same thing over and over.
And we didn't sue the town didn't sue us. Third party chose to do that.
Appreciate you helping put all those facts up.
Yeah. Thank you for the question.
And just one other thing, you know, the value of the firm, how much in sponsorships did you raise from third parties outside of the town?
Outside of the town itself or in total?
Total.
We're at just under $50,000 in sponsorships this year.
Under 50, just $50,000.
We're at 49,000 and
$49,000.
change, yeah.
Okay, and then what percent of that came from downtown versus the outside areas?
I think it was something like 45% or so from downtown, 35 or so from the other 4 outer districts, and then the remainder. I'm sorry, I'm getting a number wrong. It's a different stat. I don't know off the top of my head. I think that the sponsorship for the downtown was probably about 65%, and the outer districts were the other remaining. And then we do get sponsorship actually from businesses that aren't even in the town.
And one could make the case that sponsorship would not exist without that actually could offset your salary per se, if you actually wanted to make that stretch.
In theory. Yeah, but we invest all that money. I mean, that's how we keep the assessment down, right? Instead of charging an additional $50,000 to do our work, we go out and solicit sponsorship. So by getting that money from people who want to volunteer those funds, we keep the assessment down. I mean, our assessment is significantly lower than most competing towns. I think Westfield is something like $230,000 more in their annual assessment than ours is. So, we stretch a dime.
Anyone else have any comments? May I have a motion to approve resolution 25-276, which authorizes adoption of the 2026 Milburn Short Hills Business Organization budget?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Cosgrove,
Yes.
Mr. Sakamandy,
Yes.
Mr. Stoller,
Affirmative.
Mayor Romano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2723-25. I present for consideration an ordinance entitled Ordinance Number 2723-25, bond ordinance to appropriate an additional sum of $3,500,000 for the town hall renovation and addition project in, by, and for the township of Milburn in the county of Essex, New Jersey, to make a down payment to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such additional appropriation and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Tonight is the set time for public hearing and final passage as advertised in accordance with law. I declare the hearing open. Anyone online? No. I move that this public hearing be closed and the ordinance be adopted.
We have one.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't look.
Slow walk. Be slow.
Gary Elliott, resident. I'm obviously still against this, as I was 4, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, for Alex and Gordon. It's not the right place. We haven't planned properly, put the context of that redevelopment plan, area needs study of 2008. 2010, we built a parking garage, we knocked down a building. We did complete streets in 2016, not done right, we haven't finished Upper Milburn Avenue. Putting town hall in place with the existing town hall, which again, my objection going back prior was the wrong location, the wrong time. As expressed Alex, we've met on this before. There's 2 reasons to renovate a building. One is to save money. Could be historic, but put in that context, but leave that out of this building for the moment. But one is to save money and the other is to get around zoning. We've renovated many buildings over time, and sometimes it's been because of either of those 2. The only reason to do it. Cost of adding $3.5 million more to, I forget the total, 14, 15, 16 million dollars. The piece of property that sits on what we call Town Hall Plaza to the west. It's a road that never should have been built by a prior council in 2016, for complete streets. A long, big piece of property next to the existing police department. I know you're not going to change your mind now, but I'm here to tell you this cost is just going to increase. Time value of money, the amount of time it's going to take to build this. If you started over right now, an area needs study across the street for small commercial homes, not homes, commercial businesses. Put it there. It would happen faster and cheaper than this process is going to occur. At the end of the day, 3 years from now, you may have a really nice building. We'll look back and go, hey, it's a really nice building. We've forgotten the whole process. It's not the right place. There's just so many things wrong with having a courthouse I mean, we can look at Livingston, the courthouse in the same place as town hall. It's not the right thing. It doesn't work that way. I know a lot of courthouses are, courtrooms are Zoom now. It's just, I can't even begin to explain the lack of planning. Milburn Avenue, Essex Street, once upon a time were two-way traffic. We started the process under prior council to examine going two-way. I don't know that we should, but I know that Route 10, Route 22, Route 46 were single-lane roads once upon a time. They became divided roads. Our town is divided roads, no left-hand turn, one-way streets. This is just a further, stamp on continuing to do planning on a very small basis.
Thank you. I move that this public hearing be closed and the ordinance be adopted on final reading, and that the township clerk be directed to publish the ordinance by title as passed on final reading in accordance with law. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cosgrove?
Yes.
Mr. Sacramandi?
Yes.
Mr. Stoller?
Affirmative.
Mayor Romano?
Yes.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Cohen, you're scheduled to sponsor ordinance 2724-25.
I present for consideration an ordinance entitled ordinance number 2724-25, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the Township of Milburn, Chapter 4, General Licensing, Article 4-39, Vehicle Towing and Storage Services. The purpose of this ordinance amendment is to revise towing rates so that they are in line with surrounding municipalities and fees set forth by the New Jersey State Police. In addition, the revision will add a safe outside storage fee for electric vehicles. Tonight is the time for the public hearing, and final passage is advertised in accordance with law.
I declare the hearing open.
I move that the public hearing be closed and that the ordinance be adopted on final reading, and that the township clerk be directed to publish the ordinance by title as passed on final reading in accordance with law.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cosgrove?
Yes.
Mr. Sacramandi?
Yes.
Mr. Stoller? Mayor Romano?
Yes.
Thank you.
Committee Ms. Sacramandi, you're scheduled to sponsor ordinance 2725-25.
I present for consideration this ordinance entitled ordinance number 2725-25. An ordinance to amend and supplement the development regulations and zoning ordinance of the Township of Milburn, Article 5, Design and Performance Standards, Section DRZ 525.3, Stormwater Control. Tonight is the time set for the public hearing and final passage as advertised in accordance with law.
I declare this hearing open.
Move that this public hearing is open.
Charles Van Barra, I am a resident of Short Hills, also a member of the Flood Mitigation Advisory Committee. I wanted to thank Committeeman Sacramandi for bringing this ordinance forward. I fully support it. I think it's high time that folks that pave over pervious land of this town be responsible for dealing with the runoff that they create instead of directing it into the storm system and overloading an already stressed drainage system. So just wanted to state, I don't speak on behalf of the FMAC. I haven't been authorized to do so, but personally, I 100% support this. And thank you.
In that case, I move that this public hearing be closed and the ordinance be adopted on final reading, and the township clerk be directed to publish the ordinance by title as passed on final reading in accordance with law.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cosgrove?
Yes.
Mr. Sacramandi?
Yes.
Mr. Stoller? Mayor Romano?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2726-25. I present for consideration an ordinance entitled ordinance 2726-25. Ordinance revising and supplementing the salaries and salary ranges of officers and positions in the classified and unclassified civil service positions of the Township of Milburn, County of Essex for the years 2025 through 2029. Tonight is the time set for public hearing and final passage as advertised in accordance with law. I declare the hearing open. I move that this public hearing be closed and the ordinance be adopted on final reading, and that the township clerk be directed to publish the ordinance by title as passed on final reading in accordance with law. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Deputy Mayor Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cosgrove?
Yes.
Mr. Sakamandy?
Yes.
Mr. Stoller?
Affirm.
Mayor Romano?
Yes.
Thank you.
We have no old business, no new business. Final public comment. This public comment period is to allow for final comments from the community. When invited to speak, to offer your comments, please come to the lectern. Clearly state your name and whether you're a Millburn resident and or property or business owner. Please do not provide your full address. Our meetings are recorded and readily available to the public. I remind you that in order to help facilitate an orderly meeting and permit all to be heard, speakers shall limit their comments to 1 to 3 minutes. And they'll open it up.
And Mayor Romano, thank you for your service. However, I think certain facts have to be corrected. It was said for representation that the $15,000 a year was for litigation. None of you have institutional knowledge. None of you were in the city's meeting in May 2021, where there was a walk-on resolution to retain a new executive director and an attorney. I asked Mr. Parlavecchio a question about the retention. Amount of money, which was $15,000. We have to remember the law firm that was being retained, the political connections to the Democratic Party in Cranford. Would any of those monies be used to fight their properties? One. The answer was none of the monies would be allocated for that money. He would not be performing those services. That conflicts with what we heard before for all the years. Also, there was a campaign flyer that was issued in the 2020 campaign by 2 Democratic candidates that's told the public that no taxpayers' monies would be used to fund the city. We heard about the 2 little pieces of litigation. Bear Properties was a bench trial. It was supposed to be a bench trial. The judge at the first, when we got Judge Spencer, I think it was maybe the 6th or 7th judge that got there, she said she would not consider anything that was after August 11th, 2020. As to Bear Properties 2, it was dismissed on the pleadings. It's not a ruling on the merits. There are things that people had to hear and understand. And as to the amount of monies that were spent by prior township committees, Judge Moore, who was a civil presiding judge, twice told this town to mediate and not litigate this dispute. The council, 2021, said we'd rather litigate and mediate rather than mediate. So don't blame the plaintiffs for the cost that the town could have mitigated. There was promises that if we provided documents, and no one talked about an audit, a forensic audit, of how much money was spent on a discovery dispute manufactured by our prior council seeking documentation that had nothing to do with the SID. It was just bullying, just pure bullying to intimidate. I don't get intimidated. Wasn't intimidated in Orange, wasn't intimidated in Newark, I wasn't intimidated in East Orange, and I'm not gonna be intimidated in Millburn Short Hills. Something is wrong. And I started coming to these meetings appearing in September 2020. Start looking at all the changes that I affected in this town.
Charles Van Bear, resident of Short Hills. I just find this entire argument and litigation and the litigation costs that were mentioned that are astronomical was really all avoidable had the town voted, instead of voting unanimously to litigate, if they would have just understood that there are differences in representation and reward for the different districts relative to the monies that they pay into the city. That was even discussed by the township committee over the past year or two. I remember it, I don't know when, but I know there was discussion, and some of you even agreed with it. Certainly agreed with a study to find out what portions are returned to the various districts from the monies that they pay in. There's a discrepancy, there's an unfairness, and that isn't being addressed, and instead, monies are being spent like crazy. Blame is being placed, on you and on private citizens. And this whole thing was avoidable with just some common sense and some bargaining. But that's not what was chosen. The path that was chosen was litigation, and it wasn't chosen by a private citizen, it was chosen by this committee.
Anyone else?
Christine Bass-Milner. I just wanted to respond to Alex's comment about the lights in Taylor Park. I thought we had like a whole discussion about doing a master plan, particularly because it's historic and not sort of ad hocing things. And those lights are really kind of ugly. So I'm just throwing that out there as an independent citizen. And I don't know why like all these random people like on the that work in the town decide they're designers somehow, like, and just kind of pick things. And that's why the town looks really sort of not pulled together cohesively visually, and it's starting to decline more and more. And all you need to do is go look at Summit. It's not hard. Even go look at Livingston. I mean, Livingston's looking hot these days. I mean, I go through there, I'm like, I wish we had a library like that. I wish our high school looked like that. Their towns, everything looks good there, but we have I don't know, we have some extra cash, I guess, in the end we don't spend. But can you not talk, please? Sorry. So I wanted to go back to Mr. Grillo's comments. Okay, so yes, I was there on Saturday morning. Unacceptable to leave stuff like that. If you know windstorm's coming, that's unsafe, okay, number one. And it wasn't a big windstorm, because it wasn't, because my patio furniture would have been tousled too. But they had the event on the 6th, so it wasn't cleaned up. So they left a whole big mess there and it looked shoddy. We have to hold our town to higher standards. We pay a ton of money to live here. Why don't we get services? Why does that look like a mess? It doesn't look good. Sorry. So the other thing I want to ask you is, looking at everybody on here, I'm sure that Mr. Sakamondi would never hire me to help him on his company, as a developer, back end or front end. And I'm sure, Ben, you wouldn't take me to Abu Dhabi with you to do one of your deals, right? So, and Annette, you are an amazing, amazing doer of epic proportions. And I know nothing about the Red Cross and doing volunteer work at the level that you do. And Mr. Cantor, I'm just giving my one last example. And, Mr. Cosgrove, I would be the worst attorney ever. But, so I'm not trying to go into a job. Mr. Grillo is an urban planner, okay? You hired an urban planner to run your merchandising and retail and marketing. That's why there's no good marketing. If you look at all the likes on the Instagram page, it's mostly people in the Democratic and Republican Party or township merchants liking the product. There's not a success level. There are no benchmarks. I've never seen any benchmarks. I've been to a bunch of meetings. And I have a really strong feeling about that. And also the SID is not required. And it actually has to be, people have to voluntarily submit to it, I believe, in the state of New Jersey. It's not a required thing. So just my last few points, thank you. And everybody have a Merry Christmas and the rest of Happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. Thank you for all your service.
Anyone else like to speak? Anyone online?
Hi, Perry Urso. I have a quick question. I'd like to mention that I didn't the other objectors. You asked us if anybody else was complaining or if they had any concerns, put their objections in, they come forward. I asked you to say their name, I asked you to recognize them, and I didn't hear anybody do so. I did hear all of the other personal attacks on myself. However, per conversations with the a few TC members, they were kind enough to take the time, and we discussed about, because the people that are in opposition are obviously outside the downtown. So it was discussed that if you were to disconnect a certain area, would the SID still survive? And and yes, of course it would survive because you had a previous DMDA that was specifically for the downtown, and where the downtown is where they're making all of the,
Try to turn your camera off, maybe then.
if they were going to survive, if you disconnect.
Her, you're cutting in and out.
Is if you do it for like one particular section, you have to do it for the other. So don't be fearful, because where are they? They have the opportunity to come too. And if they feel that they're being taxed unjustly and unfairly, then it's up to them.
There's no risk for them.
And to be honest with you, there's no risk. Let them come forward if their assessment's going to be changed. Also, I just want to go back and clarify, Alex, as far as the Upper Milburn Avenue, it was mentioned that there was no requirements as far as approvals or anything as that. So can you be very specific and clear? Because I do have a property on Upper Milburn Avenue, multiple properties, and our properties and other property owners are at risk, along with the township and the county. So are you saying that there was no approvals or permitting required? So if that's so, is the same for me, that I'm gonna have an event, I wanna close down the road, I could do the same thing. So just to be clarified, that's what you were saying, that you weren't required, the SID wasn't, or that entity wasn't required to have certain approvals. I just wanna make sure that the same is for me as a property owner and a business owner in that same district, that the same applies to me. Thank you very much. Have a nice night.
Thank you. Anyone else? I will now close public comment. Committeeman Stoller, would you like to add anything?
I'll pass. I'm good for next. Thank you.
Did Deputy Mayor come?
Yeah.
Committeeman Costco?
Nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Committeeman Slackman?
Mr. Bambera, you're right, we have talked about making changes to the SID. I think the people on this dais are in agreement with changes that we want to make to the SID. One of the challenges is, if we go and make those changes, are we just gonna face another lawsuit? Are we gonna face another lawsuit from residents that like to litigate every chance they get when it comes to anything having to do with the SID? So we have to ask ourselves, at what point do we risk, another $200,000 in legal fees? Or do we, do we just leave it as is? Because that's already been through the courts multiple times. I don't know, what we're gonna decide to do, but it's something that we'll tackle in the new year. But I would like to say that, Mr. Stoller and I have met with people that have been dissenters to the SID. We've offered off-ramps, we've offered further conversations. But it's hard to mediate with someone that doesn't want anything other than a binary yes or no choice. That makes it very difficult. So I would invite the URSOs and their council to come meet with a couple of us and our council to see if we can resolve some of these differences or maybe come to an agreement. And I would look forward to doing that in the new year. And I really do hope that the URSOs and Mr. Feld take us up on that opportunity, because we really do want to try and put all of this unpleasantness behind us, move forward and make the changes that we think are going to be beneficial to all involved.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna add in, I can't stand it. 2 years ago, when we were voted in, Frank and myself, I unequivocally said, I want to be on the SID, I want to see behind the curtain, I want to understand what's going on, where this melee is coming from, where all the dissensions coming from, et cetera. We put in place significant KPIs to measure the performance. You can't fix it if you can't measure it. We went above and beyond, we built guardrails, You did a lot of great things. The whole concept of litigate versus mediate is the whole concept is we sat down to mediate and we were told ultimatum, take it or take us out or keep it going, correct? Take us out or that's not a mediation, that is an ultimatum. So from that standpoint, I couldn't do anything more. Frank couldn't do anything more. The rest of the committee couldn't do anything more. It went to the legal side. So this whole idea of mediate versus litigate to me just rubs me the wrong way because that's not what happened. And we see it today that there's a lot of things we can do to resolve this right away. Put the legal fees aside and move it forward for the benefit of the entire town. I sit on that board once a month and hear all the good things we're doing. I get calls, I get emails about us putting in place websites. People actually coming out and using Amazon because their retail traffic has slowed down. So there's a lot of good things they're doing. It's all in the numbers. So from that standpoint, and listen, Perry, Vinny, love them to death. There's no personal animosity, animus, anything towards them. We want this resolved. We had our election party at Enzo's. If anything was going to be done differently, there's no two people besides Frank and myself that would have pushed extra hard to get this thing resolved. And we've gone and it feels like an eternity, like a marathon.
We've tried our best, and we've extended another olive branch. And I really hope that olive branch is accepted and that we can have some productive conversations in the near.
Anyone else? Mr. Cantor, do you have anything?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Mr. McDonald? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.